What's going on? Hey, we back for another video. Let me turn this music down a little bit. Seems a little loud still. Oh yeah, let's go down to about. No, I can't hear it. Okay, so let's say 25 right now. All right, so today I am a little bit more prepared than I normally am. I'm learning this StreamYard, and it's going pretty good. But I went ahead and pulled in a couple notes for today. Today, what I wanted to talk about, let me get my notes section open. I use Trello for my notes. It looks like I'd never finished writing my notes in. All right, well, we'll just skip that for now. But today, what I wanted to talk about was 15 rules of money. I get a lot of people who talk to me and they say the one thing that for, I guess, today's age or whatever you want to call it, a lot of people aren't given the proper information when it comes to finances and money. I spend a lot of my time trying to keep my finances in order and trying to increase and grow everything from my income to my savings to my portfolio, just different things. I'm always trying to improve my situation. And one thing that I've learned is if you pay attention to what people who have done what you are trying to do. And so what I did today is I took some time to put together some clips. Some of them are pretty long. It's about 37 minutes in total, but I want to go through some clips of what people who have accomplished or who I can't, well, some of them I can because I see them on TV on a regular basis, like Mark Cuban. He's on Shark Tank and things like that. Basically, let's just jump into some of these videos and see where it sparks us. So let's just add this video.
If I could save $100,000, interest rates were a lot higher then, right? So, if I could save $100,000 and live off of, 50, 5, whatever it was, right? $10,000, 100,000, 10% interest rate. So $100,000 went $10,000 a year, right? So if I can get up to $250,000, then I'd have $25,000. Could I live off of that? Yeah, back then I thought I could live off of it. And that was my orientation, save up enough so I could retire and live like a student.
So one thing that I want to make a point of, and this is something that I agree with, I do not believe in spending the money that you work for every day. I believe in putting money away, doing something with your funds and trying to produce an income of some sort that will keep generating a way for you to spend. I do not think that you should live. Basically, a lot of people live off of a work hard, play hard mentality. And if you're using the money that you work hard for to play with, then that means you're going to stay in a repetitive motion of always working hard just so you can play. And you have to save for a rainy day. Let's hear what Mark Cuban has to say.
What I find fascinating is like what drove that psychology? Because you seem like someone who loves to work, loves to build things. So why do you care about retiring?
Just because the way I was raised, my dad really didn't have his own time to himself, right? Every morning, he was at work or leaving for work at 7 a.m., 6 days a week.
That was the same way with my father. I very rarely saw him.
Noon or 1 on Saturdays, and that was half a day off. We loved to take vacations, but he was always at the beck and call of somebody else. And he would always instill in me, the most valuable asset you can ever possibly have is time. And to me, and he always liked to say, today's the youngest you'll ever be, live like it. And to me,
that's a fact.
Just being able to just own my own time, like until I got an iWatch, I hadn't worn a watch in 30 years. The day I sold Micro Solutions, I took off my watch and said I'd never wear a watch again because that signified I'd have to be somewhere and pay attention to time that other people set for me, right? And to be on someone else's schedule. And so never wore a watch again until I got an iWatch. And that's why, I just want to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I wanted to do it. And I got really good at it.
All right, so this right here, I'm gonna pull this to full screen. This is a longer video, much longer video right here. I'm not gonna play the video. I might do this in a later video. Basically, this is assets over liabilities. And one thing that I'm finding out is a lot of times, a lot of people do not know the difference between an asset and a liability. This video is 15 minutes long, or excuse me, 40 minutes long. So I'm gonna skip the video and we're just gonna go through the notes that I have. And if you need to, go ahead and get a screen capture of this, because these are the notes that I took from that video. I don't know if they're all that legible right now, but what I will do is I will leave this up and we will just go over the notes of what I have on here. So the 15 rules of money, and the guy who I just had the screenshot up of, these are the notes from his video. I will try and figure out some way to put a link to his video in if you want to go watch it. It was a 40-minute video, but it was very informative to me and I enjoyed it very much. So the 15 rules of money. The first one is locus of control. And that just means you are the one that are in control of your destiny. Now, I believe in a higher power. I believe in God. I am a Christian, but I also believe that he gives you the ability to go for the things that you want, just as well as he will always provide for you as well. So I'm not trying to get into that, but we're going to keep going. So the second rule is the rule of 72. Now, I don't 100% understand this rule, why they call it a rule of 72. I will do more research into that. But one thing that I know is it says that money doubles every 7 years. I have heard numerous times, I have never experienced it yet because I have not been investing in the stock market for a 7-year period. I haven't even been in the stock market a full year yet, but I am working towards that time frame. But what it says is money doubles every 7 years, and it's about investing. Investing as early and as much as possible is more beneficial than trying to time the market. So if you can invest at a younger age, you will have more times to see the number 7 multiply in your life. Basically 7, 14, 21, 28, you will get it like that. If you wait until later in life, it will take a whole lot more funding to be the equivalent of somebody who started investing in their 20s. We're going to keep moving off of that one. Basically, even a one-time investment earlier in life is better than a large investment towards retirement years. And that's what we're pretty much talking about and focusing on here. I'm talking about plans so that people can get out of the cycles that they're in and into a future where a lot of people want to retire at the age of 60 or 65, but they're doing no planning for it. And so this is something that I see that is common. So I'm trying to be as helpful as possible in this area. So rule number 3, 15 rules of money. Rule number 3, the 70-30 rule. And that means living, that's 70% of living and 30% savings. So if you have $100, you put $70 away and you live off of, you live off of $70 and you put $30 away. So now in that 30, one thing that this guy says, because he is a tax advisor, I'm not trying to act like I'm a financial expert at all. I'm just sharing the information that I'm learning and the information that I'm starting to apply to my life as I figure it out. They say a smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. I want to be a wise man so that I don't have to go around eating every mushroom to find out which ones are good for me and which ones are bad. So being wise is the best thing, but let's not call it mistakes. Let's call it life lessons. Life lessons are what they are. Some of them are hard lessons and some of them are easy lessons, but learning is learning, and you should always be a student of life. So basically, he says that the majority of his people, and it's good practice, even faith-based practice or not, they're saying giving 10% is always a good thing. They say that it is like karma. I'm not gonna say I don't believe in karma. I know the energy that you put out is also the energy received. So if you are a giver, things will be always given back to you. It will come back to you. And sometimes it's tenfold, I hear. Sometimes it's 100-fold. We're going to keep going. But then it should be 20% for investing. 20% should be for investing. Now, how he had it broke down, he said that you should give 10% to giving. You should put 10% towards getting out of debt. And then you should also have 10% towards investing. I've heard, if you listen to Dave Ramsey and things like that, they want you to invest 15%. I have it up there as a 10% and 20% because I am saying everyone's goal, in my opinion, should be debt free. I do not believe in a good debt and a bad debt. I think, and just for me, every time I feel any kind of debt, I feel the pressure of having to pay it back. It is not just the pressure of, do I have enough money to do so? It is also the pressure of, did it get paid? Did I remember to do so? Even when you put it on auto draft, sometimes things get messed up. And when you have debt, you have to worry about a credit report. I'm just done with that game. I managed to get debt free April 2nd of this year, and I would like to keep it that way. So for me, even though some people are going to be talking about debt throughout this video, I am saying that is not the path that I take, nor I am trying to advise others to take. So if anybody talks to me about debt, I say don't do it. All right, so we're moving along. Investing. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't 100% understand this part. I understand what they're saying, but I don't understand, like, I haven't been in the investing world long enough to understand what investing looks like. So we're going to go with what he said. Investing. He has a 30-30-30-10 rule. 10% of your savings or investing should be cash or a cash equivalent. He calls gold a cash equivalent, Bitcoin a cash equivalent, something that you can cash out quickly and get the money if you need it. Then the other things, 30% towards dividend paying stocks. That's the only thing I'm doing right now. I have a Charles Schwab account, and I only invest in one stock because this is me stepping my foot in and just learning the process. I believe instead of jumping all in and doing things all in, we have to take baby steps. And so I did SCHD. That's just a index fund that tracks, I want to say, 100 different dividend paying companies. And that's why I chose it, because I like seeing the dividend return. To me, a dividend payout is kind of like owning property as a rental instead of one that you have to live in. All right, we're going to keep moving. 30% real estate income, or real estate income producing real estate income. So you can do this with owning property, which a lot of people cannot own property as easily as investors with a lot of money. But there are other things you can do. And one of the things he said is you can invest into REITs. I don't 100% understand REITs, but I understand that that is a real estate investing, like stock, or I don't understand it, so I'm not going to try and act like I do. But REITs are a way that you can get into real estate. And then the last thing is a 30% managed money. So this is when you get an expert, somebody who is a certified, like a financial planner. I'm working towards getting towards one of those, but they have stipulations and things that they want you to be able to accomplish before they will work with you. Sometimes some will work with anybody, I'm sure, but we're going to keep moving. So rule number 5 is time versus timing. Time is better than timing with investments. And what that means is people think that they're going to hold their money until a collapse in the stock market happens, or a dip, or they're going to go out and pick the perfect stock and just ride it to the top. Like, everybody wants to get on that Bitcoin train. And what they're saying is it's better to just let your money ride the time, because they're saying that every 7 years your money will double. Basically, the stock market has dips and falls, but it always has come back and gone up. Now, some companies might drop and fall off, but all do not. So basically, putting your money in and letting it ride over time is better than putting your money in and trying to time the market. I do not try and time the market. I am working what they call dollar cost averaging. I pick one day. I invest on Mondays. Every Monday, right after the market closes, I go in and I buy the same number of shares each week. And that is what I do. And then I just watch. And what happens is dollar cost averaging over time, the stock market will go up. But if you have a bunch of shares bought when the stock market was lower, you will have a lower overall average cost of each stock. And when the average is lower, then everything is upward movement from there. I'm already seeing the benefits from that, but I don't have anything to show that. Well, at this time, I'll do that in another video. So debt versus leverage. Debt is liability. Leverage makes more money than cost. So basically, if you leverage something, they're saying you're making more money off of what you leverage than what you're paying out in debt. Now, once again, I am not here to advocate with debt. Debt has never done anything good in my life, and that could be because I don't understand it. And what I try to do is I try to stay away from things I don't understand, or at least I try to build my knowledge of it before I dabble in it. Just like I'm doing with this live streaming now. This is me learning. So let's see. Liabilities you pay money for. And basically that are things like cars, houses, anything that has a depreciating value. And the reason why a house is a liability is because it doesn't make you any money. People think, oh, it's an asset. You can't take the money out of your house without putting yourself into debt. So that, now I guess that would be considering leverage. Basically, if you pay a mortgage, they're considering that to be a liability. If you buy a car, that is a liability. Now, people say it's an asset, but as long as it's taking money away from you, it's a liability. If it's putting money into your pocket, it is an asset. So what they're saying is assets feed you, liabilities bleed you. So if it takes your money, it's a liability. If it gives you money, it is an asset. All right. The next one, number 8, taxes tell. And this one is something that I didn't know, but I'm glad that I learned this because this is the way, here it is. Tax codes tell you what to invest in. Basically, if the tax code is written for you to invest in something because they give you a tax write-off by doing it, then that is what wealthy people do. They go and invest in things that they are going to get a tax break or benefit from, and that is how they save their monies. Their monies. That is something else that I have that I will do in a later video to show how the rich avoid paying taxes, and it's all legal. It's all legal. The tax breaks that they utilize are government programs to get people to invest in areas of the economy that are not functioning as they would like them to. So that is how a lot of people get away with stuff like that, and it is legal. So now you got basically more than one income. Most millionaires have at least 3 forms of income. It is not what you make, it is what you keep. And that is a big thing. A lot of people run around talking about how much money they make. Oh, I make 6 figures a year. It don't matter how much money you make. It don't matter how much money you make. If you can't keep the money, you might as well say you didn't make it. It's like working for something. I don't know how to explain it any other way. Most people don't get to keep as much of their money as they say. And I'm not just talking about with taxes. I'm talking about with just the bills and expenses that they have in their life. It don't matter how much money you make if you have nothing to show for it at the end of each month. If you can't save anything, if you can't invest in your future, then it doesn't matter how much money you make. You're in the same place as somebody who makes way less money than you if you can't afford to do things. So the next one is the rule. It's number 9 is the rule, 5% rule. I don't 100% understand this one, but this one is saying that buying a house, is it better to buy a house or to rent? And he was explaining the 5% rule. I would say I'll bring up that video and let him explain it, or I'll leave a link for you to go to it. This is one of my favorite ones right here. Number 10. It is seeds and seasons. And this one I understand very well, especially from my outdoor activities and my basil garden, my indoor office garden right here. The one thing that I've learned is you plant seeds and then you have to wait for a proper harvest date. A lot of times people plant seeds and then they try and harvest the seed too early. Here's a perfect example. If you have seeds in your hand, which I have a bunch of seeds, if you have seeds in your hand and you eat them, you know what you're going to get from that. Whatever that seed provided you in the moment for nourishment. I'm saying you eat sunflower seeds and things like that. But if you take that seed and you plant it, just one seed, if you plant one seed, that one seed could feed you for a lifetime, especially depending on what plant that seed creates. If it's an apple tree, you have an unlimited source of food after you plant that one seed. But if you eat that seed before you ever plant it, you can forget about getting any apples 10 years in the future or 100 years, whenever. So that is an important one. Planting seeds and proper harvest. Even investing in the stock market, you plant a seed, but you don't harvest it until it matures. Bonds, basically, that is an important one. And that one is one that resonated with me very well, because I am doing this whole thing with seeds everywhere I go. I plant seeds. This is me planting a seed. I even learned that about YouTube. You plant a seed, put out one video today, and you'd be surprised how that one video could pay you later. We'll talk about that in another video. Basically, the one thing it says on number 10 is if you harvest your seeds or you harvest too soon, it could be a very painful experience. Basically, they're saying harvesting too late is better than harvesting too soon. We're going to move on. Now, number 11 is the types. There are 4 types of wealth. You have financial wealth, you have social wealth, you have time wealth, and you have health wealth. Those are the 4 kinds of wealth that you can have. And it says, do not sacrifice 3 and 4 trying to obtain 1 and 2. Basically, do not look, time is it is the most important resource that you have at your disposal. Don't dispose of it, but I'm saying it is one of the most important things that you can have. And a lot of people waste their time. And what they're saying is, if you use your time and your health to chase finances and social wealth, you will end up running yourself ragged or deteriorate your body. Basically, you're giving up your health and your time, the only 2 things that you can't get back. You can get your finances back and you can get your social status back. You can get those 2 things back, but you can never get your time back, and you can't get your health back. You can't get your health back. So we're going to move on from that one. Number 12, money magnifies. So money makes you more of whoever you already are. That one's self-explanatory. They say money solves money problems. It won't solve other things. If you can't, money don't bring you love. It can't buy you love, any of that stuff. But money solves money problems. That is basically all it does. People say, can money make you happy? And I'm still up in the air on this one. I don't understand this one 100%, because I'm not a money person like that at this current time, but this is the goal. Learn this information, utilize this information, share this information, and see where it takes me and how I feel when I get to where I feel I want to be. I don't even think it's a real place or anything. As I've matured in life and my financial situation has changed, I have seen no difference. No, I take that back. Getting out of debt lowered my stress levels, so that made me a little bit happier. But the other thing it says is, if you want to be happier, become a giver. And I acknowledge that one. When I give, the smile on somebody else's face makes me feel better. And also knowing that I am in a position where I am capable of giving makes me happy, because everybody is either not capable or just chooses not to give. I do enjoy giving. That is a great thing. And they're saying, if money can't buy happiness, then you just haven't given enough away. That was pretty impactful, and I can agree with that. If money can't buy happiness, then you just haven't given enough away. And I think that's a big deal right there. That is huge. So number 13, it says student. And what he said in this one is, be a student. learn before you earn. A lot of people, they jump into, I'll use myself. I started a lawn care business when I was stationed in Florida. And while I was there, I went out and bought the equipment, and I didn't have a contract or even know what I was doing. I just thought, I've been cutting grass all my life. My mother used to make me cut grass every day, it felt like. But what ended up happening is I jumped in and I bought a bunch of equipment. It made me put the hustle behind it so that I can get the money and the income back, but I did not know what I was doing. So I ended up having to go and work for someone else until I learned what I was doing, and then also could get a little bit of a clientele up. And that was another thing that kind of burned me about debt, is I put all the cost of that business on debt. And then I had the immediate pressure of 11 months same as cash to get that paid off. I did not want to continue that way. So basically, I'm saying debt is not the way to go, and learn before you earn. That means understand the market of what you're getting into before you go out and invest all your money into the business. Because what happens if you decide, I'll give you another one. I tried to open up a skate school business, and I was not 100% understanding of all the things that went into it. I spent all this money trying to get the business up and running, only to find out that I was missing insurances, and I couldn't get insurance. And then I couldn't have two insurances on one building because I was using the same building that I used for my barber business. So I just had to nix the whole thing, and all the money that I put into that business was just lost because I couldn't afford for someone to get hurt with inside my business doing something that I was not insured for. So that is why learning before you earn is very important. So that is be a student, and I am a student now. I've learned that lesson. I know better now. So then 14 is the Army. And this one is important because this is what I am learning is very much helpful. It says, send out money to bring back money. Basically, this is what my first point was when people work hard and play hard. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? I appreciate the comment. People work hard and play hard, and I'm saying that is not the way to do it. What you want to do is take your funds that you've already earned, have them working for you in the background. Basically, make your money work for you instead of you working for your money. It doesn't matter how you do it, but you don't want to spend the money that you have to get up every single day for and clock in to do it. You have to find some way to bring in an income that you don't have to work for, and then live off of that. I don't know how else, but basically it says send your money out to bring money back. That could be investing in the stock market, investing in real estate. It's investing your money so you don't have to keep investing your time. Then the other one is, it says make your money work for you. Use money to make money. Don't throw your money away. Basically, throwing your money away. Oh, there's a lot of ways. I think the biggest way a lot of people in this country throw their money away is on food, and especially on fast food. In my opinion, food is the number one biggest, forgive me for talking that way, but it is. It's like the biggest waste of money because you literally eat it and it goes right down the toilet. That is exactly what it does. And so many people focus on flavor and taste, which FAT, flavor and taste, fat, that they overlook what they can be doing to better benefit their pockets and their health and their overall wealth. So we'll keep going on that one. Assets pay for liabilities. That's what they said. Don't throw away your money. You use your assets to pay for liabilities. That means you get an asset that will bring you a return, and that return will pay for your liabilities. So I guess wealthy people, what they'll do is they'll go out, buy some real estate or invest in the stock market or whatever, and then the returns that they get off of that investment, they will put that money towards buying them a fancy car to drive down the street instead of going out and working and making a car payment off of what you just got from your 9 to 5. That is the difference. Assets pay for liabilities. A car is a liability. The next one is money versus wealth. This was a good one. Money comes and goes. Wealth is lasting. Money comes and goes. People who come into money quick, they don't understand. Here, let me finish reading these before I go into my explanations. There's one type of money, but there's 4 types of wealth. We already went through those 4 types of wealth. The 4 types of wealth were financial wealth, social wealth, time wealth, and health wealth. Those are the 4 types of wealth. So then after that, it's not about money, it's about wealth. That's pretty deep right there. That was just the breakdown of that one video. Now I'm going to continue and let this video play, let the next video play out. That was the the short version of a 40-minute video.
Some people say it makes the world go round. Some people
play.
chase it tirelessly like a hamster running on a wheel. Some people
I
speak
cut all
about
this
money
down,
and others actually have it.
so it's not as long.
Money doesn't care about your self-esteem, about your religion, about where you live or what your goals are. Money just is. You either have it or you don't. You're either making money or you're spending money. What some of you might not know, though, is that money behaves like a force in society. It follows certain rules, certain laws that govern the creation and flow of capital. And today, we're sharing with you 15 rules of money that will change how you look at wealth. Rule number 1, money doesn't change people. It shows who they really are. Think of money like a magnifying glass. Whatever traits lay hidden before are now 10 times bigger, and people can now notice them. And that same magnifying glass can light the initial spark that awakens these traits that were dormant before. If you were an asshole before you got rich, then after getting rich, you're just an asshole who's got a larger bank account. And the other side of this coin is also valid. If you're humble and a generous person before, nothing is going to change who you are once you make it. Money also acts like gasoline. It makes the fire bigger. It allows you to move quicker, learn faster. It grants access to more tools, toys, and resources. It all depends on who you are and where you want to channel its force. Money doesn't change people. It strips away the vulnerability of being poor and gives them the platform to be as they really are. Rule number 2, never spend money before you earn it.
This is a big one right here. Not spending money before you earn it. I have had this problem so many times in my past, I should say. Thinking about, what I will make if I had X, Y, and Z, and then I invest, and then I don't follow through. That was what I was talking about on starting the skate school. When I started the skate school, I invested money expecting to get the return, and I did not, but I'm going to let this play.
If you want to be poor, keep spending money you haven't earned yet. This is the main reason why most people never escape poverty. They borrow money to buy things they don't actually need or can't really afford. So whose fault is this? Well, some people will say the media, who's aggressively marketing products to those vulnerable individuals, promising happiness and the respect of their peers. Others say it's an education issue that nobody teaches you these things, but actually, it's a personal thing. When you're maxing out a credit card to buy a new TV, you know what kind of choice you're making, okay? You know it's not a smart purchase. Despite the TV being smart, it's because of vanity. You're sacrificing your future at the expense of your present.
I feel the same way.
People overspend on things they can't really afford, and that's why they'll never break the cycle. They're playing catch up with the present, so there isn't enough time to move into the future. Rule number 3, don't chase money, instead be a money magnet. We know this rule sounds super cheesy, okay? Like some kind of law of attraction bullshit, but it's not. It's actually a lot deeper than positive thoughts and the universe delivering your ideal life to you. This rule can be broken down into 2 halves. The first part means you're always behind money running toward it. The fact you don't have money is because you're stuck on this rat race, this hamster wheel you're not getting anywhere on as long as you're chasing it. You're the coyote and the money is the road runner. And
this is what I mean
likes to be
about
chased or caught.
working hard
so
and playing hard,
you best believe
though.
it'll always run away from you when it sees you coming. Now, the second part is about attracting money, which means becoming valuable enough by yourself. That money comes to you because of your skills and aptitude. Let us explain. The more valuable you become as an individual, the more people will want you to solve problems for them. They will gladly run after money and bring it to you if you can help them out. This is the fundamental difference between consumers of value and creating items of value. One spends money while the other receives money. Rule number 4, invest time before you...
I want to talk about that. That is a fact. A lot of people walk around just spending their money and not focusing on how they can. Basically, one thing that I noticed, so I have a barbershop, and when I stand behind the chair, I always think about how I'm only servicing one person at a time. I can only deal with, like, I have 2 hands. I can only cut one head at a time. And by doing it, by putting myself in an atmosphere where I am only being beneficial to one person at a time, it slows down how much you can make per hour. And the overall goal is to increase how much you make per hour. I don't care what job you work in. Everybody wants to increase their income, even working in whatever role it is that you are in. I'm going to get off of that.
Invest money. This is the main thing holding people back from starting. A common belief of the average person is you need money to make money. But what these people never learned is that time is more valuable than money, and early on, you've got an abundance of time you're most likely throwing away no matter when you start. It'll still take you, on average, 7 years to build a business, 10 if you're not as smart, and 5 if you've already got some money to begin with. But there's still a time requirement. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll get there. You're smart. You chose.
This is one reason why I'm doing this whole thing right now. I've been telling myself that I was going to start doing live streams on YouTube for a long time. I keep telling a lot of my clients and a lot of my friends, oh, I'm going to be starting a podcast studio in the basement of the barbershop. But for some reason, I could never get going. I could never get the funding. It was so many things that said that I couldn't do it. And then I just had to understand, you just got to get started. That's what I did. This is not the environment that I wanted to get started in, but the key is just getting started, taking a chance. This is one of the lowest expenses that I could possibly do right here. Now, the first thought process that I had was I have to be in the studio of my dreams to get started. Same way with my barbershop. I wanted my barbershop to be the barbershop that I wanted to be, but my funding was limited. So I only could use the funds that I had. But I'm doing business. It just doesn't look like the business that I had in my mind, but it's still working. What I'm trying to get across to people is getting started is what needs to be done. And you will learn along the process. They say it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. So all I do is just look at the hours and I start walking. Now I've been live streaming for probably 4 hours now of my life. It is getting easier and easier with every live stream. I am making my platform look better with every one that I do. And I guess what I'm saying is that is the way anything goes. If you want to learn how to walk, you don't just get up and walk. You have to practice. If you want to learn how to ride a bike, you don't just get on the bike and ride. You had to practice. And then over time, you just got better at it. And that is what it is to do any business or, anything that you want to do.
To invest a couple of minutes of your precious time with us, and we could not be more grateful for it. But you still need to get your hands dirty, okay? You need to be in the field, whatever that field is for you, real life or digitally. It's shocking to us how people can't find 2 hours a day to work on their side project. If you're not rich, it's not because you don't have money. It's because you're investing your time poorly. Rule number 5. The more you learn, the more you earn.
That's what I did in the Air Force. Small
engines. Here's a very important distinction we have to make when it comes to learning. Learning for us is about acquiring knowledge that can be transformed into value in your life and the lives of others. That's what learning is. Nobody cares if you know all the Pokemon or the first 38 digits of pi. That's not valuable, okay? Life is not a trivia show. Knowledge that doesn't have the potential to be manifested is not knowledge. It's trivia. Focus your learning on building a ladder for yourself to get out of this hole of mediocrity. Most of us begin our journeys by learning how to build each step and then following through with the execution. If your parents built you a ladder, then use it. If other people have documented how ladders are built, study them.
That's what I was talking about a smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And what they just basically said right there was, don't go out and try and build a ladder if somebody else has already did it. Just study the plans that they did. They say for the average person to get rich, all you have to do is make a product 10% better than it already is. Now, that is basically, let's just talk about it from the tires, the wheel on a car. It is only getting better, a little better especially now, it's only getting a little bit better every time. But you got to think where wheels came from. It came from stone, then it went to wood. Now it's rubber. You get where I'm coming from. So people have just continued to make things a little bit better. I don't care what it is. If you look at it, other people looked at it and then they just turned it out 10% better. And that's why everything is so much more complicated now than it ever has been.
We're all dealt different hands in this game of life. Maybe some holes are deeper than others, but the way out is almost always the same. Rule number 6. Never be a slave to money. Become the master.
This is about
Nobody
debt.
wants to be a slave. Yet the way society works, we're enslaving ourselves. We've invented this amazing tool called debt. Some people use it to set themselves free, while others lose even the freedom they once had to begin with.
I'm going to be honest. I do not understand how debt can set you free. Debt to me always felt like anxiety tightly balled up in my chest. I have never had a positive experience with debt. I have never been like, "Whoo, I won on this deal," because the interest rate or the time that you have to pay back, it always feels like someone else is in control. And if you don't do what they say, when they say, they can ruin your life or take that item away from you or whatever. Debt has never made me feel like a winner, not once in my life.
Bad debt is just the latest form
No
of
such
slavery.
thing as good debt.
The moment you borrow money for whatever reason it is, your life is no longer yours. It belongs to the creditors, to the people who loaned you that money. You will literally have to trade hours of your life in order for the proceeds of that work to go to someone else. Money is always floating in between. You either own that money or the money owns you.
Yep.
Your only goal is to be the master of money because, well, the alternative is terrible. Rule number 7, you have to seduce money. Don't let money seduce you.
That's facts too.
Money is slippery. In the same way that a knife in the hands of a professional sushi chef is a loyal servant, in the hands of a child, that knife becomes a dangerous weapon.
Yep.
Money has the appeal of showing you everything you can do with it, all that is possible, and it's easy to fall prey to its charms, because who wouldn't want to fulfill their fantasies? But that's exactly how money escapes.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the genie in the bottle. Like money, a lot of people look at money like the genie in the bottle. If I had a lot of money, it would grant me wishes. I wish. But money, every wish, if you don't word it properly, it can come back to bite you. And I think that's what happens if you look at a lot of, let's say, celebrities, or let's use sports athletes. A lot of sports athletes, they come into a lot of money very quickly. And then what happens is they don't understand the principles of money or how it works. And so they end up broke because they think, I got millions. And they think that millions will never run out. It just seems like the money is just endlessly flowing, especially if you were making $900,000 a week playing football or basketball. I don't know exactly how much they make, but I heard one football player say he was making $900,000. I think he said a week. That is just ridiculous. But to them, that's nothing.
From you. The moment you give in, that's when you open up that door and money slips away. You've seen it numerous times with people who won incredible fortunes and ended up broke and miserable just a few years later.
That's what I'm talking about.
Rule number 8. Money doesn't grow on trees unless you plant the right seeds.
Now we're back to talking about
For
the
some
seeds
reason,
again.
people are only familiar with the first half of this rule. Everybody who's ever planted an apple tree knows what it takes to get to enjoy those apples. You first need to find the seed, then the right soil. Water it, nurture it, take care of it, protect it
Don't
from
happen
external
overnight.
forces, give it enough time, enough sunshine and attention, and you'll eventually get to eat your apples.
Hey,
And
thanks
this is
for tuning in.
exactly the same way you build a fortune. You've never planted the right seeds and never went through the process. That's why you don't have your own money tree yet. In the real world, we call these investments or businesses. Even the tallest tree started out as a seed. But seeds by themselves don't grow into beautiful apple trees. No, these seeds that we're speaking of are ideas. The world is filled with seeds, and the best thing is they are free. Ideas are free. You are the gardener.
Hey, in today's time, that is exactly the truth. It is about how creative you can be. A lot of people just look at what other people did or do, and that is all they see for themselves. It is hard to think bigger than the environment that you're in. But in today's society, you can look on social media, on YouTube, you can find, they say, if you want something, you got to put yourself around the people who have the knowledge or have the things that you are trying to achieve in life. It's like having a mentor. Find a mentor and then stay close to them. If you don't have the people around you now, social media has made it so you can bring those people to you because so many people are sharing so much information. My first video was with Mark Cuban. I mean, that's just proof. I've never been in a room with him, but I can be now.
Seeds are the ideas. The sooner you plant this seed and begin nurturing it, the sooner you can eat those damn apples. Rule number 9, don't let your money get bored. Because money hates getting bored, okay? It hates it so much it usually either dies off or flees to someone else who knows what to do with it. Money is kind of like a mako shark. It has to keep on swimming if it wants to stay alive. Money loses value when it sits and grows in value when it's used. Here's something you're probably unaware of. If you had $50,000 and put it under your bed for 10 years, at the end of that trial, your $50,000 would be worth approximately $30,000 in real marketplace value. And that happens because of inflation, the rise of property prices, developments, the cost of living increases, etc. That's the cost of letting money get bored. Put enough money aside for a rainy day and have it protected from inflation. Everything else, use it to fortify your castle. Build things, grow.
So the one thing that I have learned from watching people like Dave Ramsey and things like that, they're basically saying put 6 months worth of your living expenses aside, and that is your emergency fund. You have 6 months worth of living expenses put aside, and then after that, you should be able to live comfortably investing the rest of your 30% in something that is going to bring you a higher rate of return than just a checking account or a savings account. The things that I use a high yield savings account. That's where I keep my emergency fund. And then I am also doing a little bit of investing into the stock market.
Things. Use that money for what it's meant to be used for. Rule number 10, spend less than you earn. Now, I know this sounds obvious, but we still can't believe just how many people break this fundamental rule. There's a large population who just doesn't care about the reason they credit card everything. And there's an even larger portion of this population who spends everything they earn. The first ones are already drowning, the second ones are one wave away from joining them. Your inability to control your thirst for spending is the reason why you don't feel like your life is moving forward. These people get seduced by money. They enslave themselves with bad debt. They let their pride and emotions take control of their spending. All debt is inevitably paid back with interest. If you can't afford to buy it now, you cannot afford to buy it with interest on top.
That's
if you're
facts.
one of those people who don't like to budget things because it makes them feel cheap, it's okay as long as you still obey this fundamental rule. You can either spend less or earn more. The
That's
choice
facts.
is yours.
We're going to let that one ride.
Rule number 11, money is your personal army. It should go out
We
there
talked
and
about
bring
this one
back
in the other one.
prisoners. Billionaire investor Kevin O'Leary kept pushing this metaphor, and now it's something that we've incorporated into the way we think about money. Every dollar you have is like a personal soldier. Every morning you send them out into the battlefield. Some will die, some will conquer. Your goal is for more of them to return back home with prisoners. If you start thinking about your dollars as freedom soldiers, you'll begin to be a lot more careful with the troops you give away when someone asks to borrow some of your soldiers. Every time you give someone money, you run the risk of this person killing your soldiers and never seeing them again. Soldiers that otherwise would have served you very well. Number 12. The right partner can make you rich. The wrong partner can make you poor.
Hey, this is a fact right here. I deal with this one, not in a bad way, but I deal with this one because me and my wife can't see eye to eye on how to spend money. It has harmed how fast we can move forward. I am more of a budgeter and risk taker, and she is more of a spender. I think a lot of people have issues with that one, but because we can't get on the same page, it makes it hard for us to have a consistent path forward. But what this is talking about is two people having the same kind of vision with their finances. And when you don't have the same vision with your finances, it causes more problems. And that is something that I have greatly learned to understand. Oh my goodness.
You'll never understand just how expensive it is to be with the wrong person until you are. The wrong person can hold you down. They're so close to you, they have the power to alter your fate.
That's facts.
They can help you to build wings for growth, or they can chain you to the ground. We cannot stress enough just how important it is to be with the right person. Someone to call your partner who is willing to go through this journey that we call life together with you. You need this person to be strong,
very big,
competent, and have the same goals and desires that you do. Because
that's right.
The road ahead of you will be filled with ups and downs, with hardship.
Having the same goal as your partner is a big deal. If you can't get someone to sit down with you at the table and talk about the journey or the goals, it will cause you a lot of stress because you will end up doing everything by yourself.
And nobody who isn't fully committed to this journey will be able to push through. So find the right person and life will be a marvelous adventure. Rule number 13, money will solve all of your money problems. Nothing less, nothing more. For some reason, people expect money to solve every problem out there. And look, okay, it's true, it can solve most of the problems, but certainly not every single one of them. Money is like a universal key which can open up more related locks. Need a roof over your head? Money can solve that. Wondering what you're going to eat tonight? Money's got you covered. Your kids need school supplies? Money to the rescue. These are all money issues. Money works for these. But it's stupid to think that just because you've got a key, you can go through a brick wall if there's no door in sight. If you're poor, all you see is money problems. Once you overcome these, you end up realizing there are other types of problems out there.
That's right.
Where money has little to no power. Rule number 14, there are people who have money, and then there are people who are wealthy. So what does wealth mean? When do you know you're wealthy? Well, for us, wealth is that point in your life where your desires and expectations match your reality. That's when you win. But it's about the winning combination of all pillars in your life: emotional, intellectual, physical, relationships, and finance. It's pretty much like collecting all of the Infinity Stones for a successful life.
Yep.
Some people are lucky if they get 1 or 2 out of those 5. The peculiar thing is that these pillars are connected. It's hard to win at relationships when you're emotionally damaged. It's hard to build your financial empire if your relationship sucks, and so on. This is why you see rich people who are not happy or fulfilled in their pursuit of financial gain.
And that proves that money can't buy you those things. Money can only solve money problems. And in this one, I want to go back because when it was talking about money, other types of wealth, this one just gave you a whole bunch of types of wealth. But the 4 types that we had in the first video that I did not show was financial wealth, social wealth, time wealth, and health wealth.
They forgot about all of the other important pillars. And rule number 15, your rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to your contribution. If you've ever questioned why you earn as much as you do currently, it's because of this rule. This is the recipe for calculating how much reward a person should receive. The bigger the contribution, the bigger their reward. If you serve 10 people, your reward will inevitably be smaller than someone who serves 1 million people. This applies to the poorest person and the richest person.
All right, let's talk about that one for a second, because that was what I was talking about when I was talking about working in a barbershop. And I'll go back to the comment right here that said he works with small engines and I'm in the same. He can only do one mower at a time. And that is a big deal, because what I'm saying is when you only impact one person at a time, you don't have as good of a chance to increase your income as a person. Basically, I always talk about this in scale. So I have a barbershop and I can only serve one person at a time. Now, owning a barbershop, you can also generate income in other ways by having other people working your shop. But as far as the money that I make off of my work, is only one head at a time. So only way I can increase my income is by either increasing the amount that I charge per hour or per haircut, or increasing the amount of haircuts I do in an hour. We factor everything off of by the hour. So the other way to do it is how many people you can service. So I'm talking about scaling up. So you look at other businesses or other ways that you can increase your income. For me, that's why I did the skate school, because in a skate school, I can teach up. I mean, the numbers are endless, but let's just say in the chair per hour, I could have one client in the chair per hour. Some people do two, but I feel like that's a little bit of a rush. One client in the chair per hour, or you can go the other route, which I was saying the skate school, I can get 10 people in a class in 1 hour. So, and you can charge the same price. It's still about the hour. But if you were charging $10 for a haircut, which that's what we're just going to say, and then you're charging $10 an hour in the or in the skate school, then you have $100 compared to the $10. Same thing. It doesn't matter what it is. I always look for businesses that I can scale. I have not acquired any or found enough yet, but that is my thought process, trying to acquire or move into a business that I can scale.
It's the foundation of value. Starting today, you can immediately increase how much money you can earn if you just follow this rule. In order to increase your rewards, you have to increase your contribution. And you can do this by serving more people, improving the...
So I do the same conversation that I'm doing now with every member or every client who sits in my chair. I try to be as beneficial to that person as possible, but I can only reach one person per hour that way. Just in this little bit of time that I've been on here, I've seen a couple people pop in and out. So I haven't even been on here an hour and I've already been able to affect more people. Now, I have not made money off of it yet, but that is something that investing the time, it will grow over time.
Quality of your service or finding new ways to contribute. This is all there is to it. Write these 3 things down and go through them every day until you figure out how to apply any of these 3 in your life, and you'll immediately see a jump in the rewards you receive. Any of these 15 rules we've mentioned are valuable and strong enough to build wealth for those who not only are aware of them, but put them to good use. And of course, for those of you who always stick with us until the end, we've got a bonus, and that bonus today is, would you rather be tired or broke? Because it is your choice, okay? We believe this from the bottom of our hearts. Every person can achieve financial success if they choose to stop being lazy. Most people think that being lazy is the opposite of working hard, but that's not quite the truth. If all it took was working hard, then the richest people in the world would be coal miners or people installing roofs in July. Being lazy has to do with your mindset, with your choice of picking hard things over convenient things, of reading a self-help book instead of watching reality TV, or sleeping 2 hours less than your friends so you can work on your project.
That's what I do.
Not being lazy
I had to get
requires
these
you
videos
to sacrifice comfort in the
just
present
so I can do this
for the potential of the
live
future. Not being lazy means doing the things that they are not willing to do today so you can live the way they can't.
That's right. All right, so I'm gonna stop this one right here. I had a lot more video that I wanted to go through, but I'm not gonna keep this live stream long. And this live stream was about the 15 rules of money. We went through 2 different videos about the 15 rules of money, and I think that hit. I mean, those 2 did it all. I don't need to do any more. This video today was about the 15 rules of money. We kept it to an hour. I will get some more video content and try and bring it a different way. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to learn how to use this platform. And so this is helping me, and I'm trying to do things to also be beneficial and help others. And I am a firm believer, and if you want to do something, you have to take control of it for yourself and get started. People make excuses on why they can't get started. I try not to be one of those people. I believe that if you follow these steps, it will be beneficial to you over time, and you will see the benefit. I guess that's what beneficial over time means now, isn't it? But I'm saying these tips are very helpful. I utilize them in my life even before I understood them or came across them, but it just kind of reinforced my own thought process a little more. And it encouraged me also to go ahead and get started. This is one of the easiest things I feel like you can do to increase your financial wealth, your social wealth, your time wealth. It might not help your health wealth, but that was 3 different wealths that it would help. Financial, if I get this right, my YouTube channel will grow faster. Social, if I get this right, my subscriber count will grow faster, which would be a social wealth. And if I get this right, I will only have to come on here and do an hour video as needed. I don't know what that is yet, but this is me pushing towards knocking out these goals, knocking out this here. I'm gonna put those back up. Let's put this back up right quick so I can rewind to that part and leave those up for a second. It was around the 2-minute mark. That's mark right there. I'm gonna leave these up for a second and let people take a look at them. I do believe I have them all up there. Yes, I do. But basically, I try my best to spend more time in my thoughts and increasing making my situation better. That is my number one focus. I hope that these 15 rules of money were helpful to someone else. I hope that as time goes on, I get better at making this content. I just want to say thank you for everybody who tuned in. I know I only had a few, but we're at the start. This is how it goes, and I understand that. So I am very happy with how this worked out. And we're just going to put this video out like this. Hey, much respect, much love. I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm sure it's going to get better over time. I thank you for everybody who tunes in and watches this at any time in the future. If you see any ways that I can improve my situation or improve the way my presentation, leave me a comment. Let me know how that could be. Hey, I appreciate it. Much respect, much love, and we out.